guys, Stat here from Iowa Budget RC, and so I've been watching monster truck, RC monster truck videos all day long on YouTube because I've been home with a migraine and just trying to keep my mind off my head, and I got an idea for a video. So while I'm not feeling too bad, I thought I'd come down and do a video. So these are 4 of the 5. The 5th is the Traxxas Bigfoot of Grayson's that are in our collection that are 100% based on real monster trucks. So these are just some of my favorite monster trucks from back in the day. USA 1 was always one of my favorites from the beginning as a kid, as was Bigfoot, and Excalibur, of course, and the only van that I can ever remember on the circuit, which was Rollin' Thunder, and then of course Awesome Kong. Awesome Kong 2, I should say, because Awesome Kong, after he switched to the Chevy body, I was never a fan of it, even though I'm a Chevy guy. I always liked the step-side Ford body. So, we've got this is a vintage lunchbox chassis, and it's got vintage Tamiya, vintage Futaba electronics in it. And I painted up this Rollin' Thunder dusty body, actually for the other lunchbox, which is down here on the shelf, and decided I needed to find a chassis just to put this on. And I trolled eBay and I found one. And so here it is, the Rollin' Thunder. And these, as we know, was the very first van on the circuit, maybe the only van. No, there was like the Bigfoot van that was a tank and a couple others. But this inspired Tamiya to do the lunchbox. And so the lunchbox, I'll just set it on the floor for this moment. The lunchbox, the story that I've heard, and it could be folklore, but after the Rollin' Thunder got sold, it went over to Japan, and supposedly a Tamiya exec bought the van, and that's what they based the lunchbox off of. The Clodbuster was based off of 2 trucks, and one of them being the Excalibur and the other being the original Samson, and that's what their inspirations were for those. Excalibur was the first truck that was designed with computer-aided drafting, and I always loved Excalibur, and I don't know why. Probably just because it was always the winning truck, and it was just super cool. Awesome Kong 2 here is on the Blackfoot chassis, of course, and it is I got my antenna wire hanging. It was 100% my favorite truck in the series of the time. It had the bright orange Ford step-side body. I've always loved step-sides. And then it had my favorite motor of all time, which is the Allison V12. And I'm still looking for a scale V12 to put back here, and I will find one of these days. This body is in really bad shape, so this is shelf queen only material. In fact, I was dreading even putting the roll bar on it. I did finally put the roll bar on it, but I was dreading that just because this thing is so brittle, and it was cracking as I was painting it and whatever. USA 1. USA 1 started off as a 1970, I believe, Chevy C10, and it was blue originally, and then Everett Jasmer redid the truck and painted it pearl white, and it became legendary after that. And then he got the contract with Chevrolet, and they skipped over the 73 through 87 body style because 88 was coming out, and so they went with this body style, and it dominated for a couple of years, and then Everett didn't like the way things were going with the circuit and whatever else, and he quit doing it. There's been a couple re-releases of USA 1, and now Everett just sold the franchise here last year, so it's going to be coming up as in the Monster, I think the Monster Jam series or something like that. But you know, honestly, Monster Jam doesn't do it for me. I like the old trucks that were built by good old boys in their backyard shops, and that will always be me. That's the era that I grew up in, and I think we're all a lot of us are kind of that way. It's fun to go watch the Monster Jam guys do the flips and the rolls and the freestyle stuff, whatever. But I'm from the old school car crushing, drag racing around the track and doing truck pulls with the monster trucks, and even mud bog stuff. They did all of that back in the day. So that's kind of what I'm into. Then we've got the Excalibur. An Excalibur started off as a 74 Chevy truck and then switched to the new body style in 86 or 87 when he went into a lake and flipped the truck completely upside down. And of course, hydrolocked the motor. They had to rebuild the motor, had to do all that kind of stuff, but they rebodied it at that point in time, and or at least reclipped it and put the newer style front clip, and then came out with this, because before this paint job it was charcoal gray with the maroonish colored top and the stripe at the bottom, almost identical to my brother's truck that he had back in the 90s. And I always loved that truck because it reminded me of the original Excalibur. But Excalibur, I worked my butt off on this body and tried to get it as scale and real as possible. Yeah, I added the Iowa Budget RC Basher stickers and Holmes Hobby stickers, but for the most part, it's 100% Excalibur, and I'm hoping that this year at Horizon Fest and RC Fest, which is a month later, that I might be able to win some award for this Excalibur. You never know. But yeah, that's kind of our monster trucks based on real trucks. Let's get the Bigfoot out. So this is Grayson's Traxxas Bigfoot, and this and the USA 1 we got from our friend and yours, the RC Elf, who is just awesome to the community and helps all of us out whenever he can, whatever. And just a stand-up awesome guy. So he sent me the USA 1, and then a few days later we got an email saying, hey, I'm gonna send one for your son too, and do you want it to be a surprise or what? And I said, yeah, I want it to be a surprise, and it turned out to be the Traxxas Bigfoot. Grayson, as you can see by the way the body looks on this thing, absolutely loves this truck. And he does monster truck stuff with it and monster jam kind of stuff, and he'll do wheelies all the way down the street if he can, and jumps it in the backyard and just beats on it, and he fixes it himself. Because I told him, I said, if you're going to tear stuff up, you're going to fix it. And that's how I learned, and that's how you're going to learn too. And so he does. Like the other day, his spur gear came disconnected. He brought it downstairs, pulled the wheel off, pulled the cover off, reattached the spur gear, put a little bit of Loctite on the set screw, and got it back going again, put it all back together. This truck has the 12-turn Holmes Hobbies motor in it that Grayson bought himself. You can't really see it, but it's in there. And then the Integy aluminum extendable axles, and then we put these more monster truck-esque tires on here. And the last time he took this thing apart, I gave him bearings and we put bearings in it. And it's just an awesome truck. It's fun, you know, it's some Traxxas Stampede. They're great trucks. Same with the USA 1. This thing is just awesome. It's fun. It'll run on 2S, 3S, or 4S. I've got the part here to modify the steering to make it servo on axle, which should make the steering so much better on this truck. It's got so much play in the steering because of the way the bell crank system is in it and the way it works and whatever. So that's going to be a future episode here, maybe sometime after I finish the Falcon. I'll be doing that, and so you'll get to see that. We've got another truck that I'm going to make as barefoot, and that is the Nitro HPI Savage. And that truck, I've got new tires for it and wheels, and I'm trying to figure out that those have an oddball size hub and left-hand threads on one side and right-hand threads on the other. So I'm trying to find hubs that will work, or that will work on the Savage to mount the 17 millimeter hubs for the giant monster wheels. Do I have any? No, I don't have any. Out right now, but to mount those giant wheels. And then that truck's going to be done up with the square body like this version of barefoot. I've got the decals, I've got the body, I've got the paint, I've got everything to do it, I just haven't done it. And then the Jags monster truck, as much as I love that B50 style extended Bronco body, I am thinking about doing another monster truck out of that. I haven't decided which one yet. So yeah, that's our monster trucks based on real trucks, and even the ones that aren't based on real trucks, you know, I try and do as scale as possible, or like, you know, the runner body for the Blackfoot, you know, I tried to put as much detail as I could into it, and you know, I love this truck. Blackfoots are very special to me, and I've got the Midnight Pumpkin up here, which was based on the Frankenstein truck from Daryl Starbird, and you know, so I try to have that era of monster trucks in my collection. X-Maxes and all that stuff are cool, and you can do some amazing stuff with them, amazing tricks, but that's just not my style. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get some close-ups of some of these, and then I'm going to cut you off. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And don't forget to visit our merch store, iwillbudgetrcbashers.com. Peace.